What is up, folks? Welcome once again to another session of Let's Chat with me, Meor Addelan. Cuti Malaysia now. Unfortunately, now with the global pandemic happening all around the globe, Malaysia's borders are closed right now. We can't afford to actually open our borders as of yet to international travelers, international tourists to come down to Malaysia and to enjoy our beautiful country. But having said that, though, today I have a very special guest who managed to beat the MCO earlier, and she has been stuck here since. And believe it or not, she's enjoying herself very much so. Ladies and gents, allow me to introduce you a very good friend of mine, an international lifestyle influencer. Ladies and gents, Ethel de Costa. Hi, Ethel.
Hey, hi, Meor.
You
Complete
were
pleasure,
one
complete
of the
pleasure.
lucky ones. You managed to beat the closure of the borders back when it was implemented in March. And then it so happens that you are really, really enjoying your life here, aren't you? I mean, what made you love Malaysia so much? And maybe even before that, maybe you can just brief our viewers. We know where
Yeah.
you from and what actually do you do?
So as luck will always have it with me, right? I was here in November 2019, invited by Malaysia Tourism to come to this awesome country. But while back in November 2019, I had no clue that Malaysia was what it is, that I came and saw. So I was completely blown. And I was like, why the hell didn't I hear of this country before? Because I've traveled all over the world, luckily, my work takes me across. And I came, and Malaysia Tourism, of course, hosted us and other couple of journalists. And I was absolutely flat out. And I told Malaysia Tourism, I'm not going back. I want to stay back here because I just completely fell in love with the country. And they were completely surprised too. And of course, we had great stories that happened. Then Malaysia Tourism invited me back again in February because I just couldn't wait to come back. I came back, I stayed back for a week, then I stayed back, extended and stayed back for almost 10 days to kind of check the country out. And then decided that this is where I want to come and kind of maybe reboot my life or restart my life. And I came back in March, and everything was just kind of getting ready for myself. I found a place to stay. I was kind of getting to know, into the groove of the city. And then MCO hit. And then MCO hit, luckily, because I was already in the country. So I did not panic. I was like, okay, I'm going to step back and figure out how do I handle this now, right? And I called up home. I remember talking to my mom because my mom had panicked and she was like, but why are you sounding so cool? You're in a different country and you're on your own. And I was like, hang on, mom. I think I've got this. We'll figure this out. And I think I did the MCO pretty well.
Yeah,
Pretty well.
but I do have a bone to pick with you. You said it yourself that why on earth have you not able to discover Malaysia even before this? Where have you been, Ethel? I thought Malaysian tourism specifically has done a great job in telling the world of how great Malaysia is. Why did it take you that long of a time for you to finally, got to know Malaysia
Yeah.
and finally came down to our shores?
Okay, so I think not spoken enough to people like us, I guess, right? Because a lot of the tourism that comes in is coming from South India, not really coming from North India and other parts, of India too. So I only knew Malaysia as the Twin Towers, right? I mean, that's the most popular icon that you see in in lifestyle magazines or in travel stories or in movies, and that was it. So when I landed the airport, and that was my the fastest immigration I ever went through in my life. It was a total of 60 seconds, and I was like, "Wow!" I said, "If this is what the first welcome tells me, then I'm so looking forward to the rest of the country." And yeah, I think the promotions happened with Visit Malaysia 2020, which we were a part of. Correct? I mean, the entire publicity opened up with Malaysia Tourism, Visit Malaysia 2020. And luckily, we were the ones as the messengers of it, right? And I think everything just kind of, blew, with and bloomed with that. So yeah, I think it's great timing, great timing.
As an outsider's perspective, Ethel, you being based in India, being a writer, being able to travel the world,
Right.
looking at the sites, visiting all of this greatness all around the world. Malaysia has its own uniqueness to you, I would assume. So maybe you want to share with our viewers what is so unique about Malaysia that made you just don't want to go back?
Okay, I think first of all, it has a great spiritual vibe. And I think I kind of connected from a very deep level inside to that vibe first. It kind of, so it's helped me bloom into a woman that I'm looking at and feeling very proud of. So I'm extremely grateful to Malaysia for that. The people absolutely give me love, and that love is a love of being very spontaneous. It's being very encouraging. It's like embracing me, though I've never been here in my life before, but now I'm convinced I've lived here in some past life because of the spontaneity of love that I feel here. The food, of course, is awesome because though I've had food problems in India because of the kind of palate that I'm not so used to, I am absolutely loving the food. In fact, my taste buds, I think, have bloomed here because I can taste everything, so beautifully, which is like quite surprising to me too. So I feel I'm born again as a woman, and
Wow.
that is quite shocking even to my family because they're like, "You look so different. What are you up to? And what are you doing?" I said, "I'm just happy. I'm just absolutely happy with the way I feel in the country, with the way the country makes me feel."
Coming to the food, not just the food, actually, the culture itself. As you know, Malaysia is a very well diverse country. Because we have many different races down here. We got the Malays, we got the
Yes,
Chinese, we got the Indians, and not forgetting as well, the indigenous people in the island of Borneo and everything. But of
correct.
course, you coming from India, there's a lot of similarities that you personally could connect on a certain level, isn't it? Hence why I think you feel at ease when you're here. Am I correct in saying that?
Right, because okay, so the diversity is of course there. I mean, it's just everywhere. You can't avoid it. But the beauty of the diversity is the way it is being presented. It is very natural. It is extremely welcoming. So you don't feel like the outsider. Also, because I think India has such a huge influence on the Malaysian culture. In terms of its ethnicity, the people who are also here, which almost is like a 10% of the Indian population, that is so beautifully fused in and has become part of the country's language, the country's soul. So I just fit in there because of where I come from. Because also the Indian population know I'm here, so the red carpet was also extended even more so, right?
Mhm.
Also the local Malaysian, of course. Strangely and luckily for me, the local Chinese has warmed my heart too. And I think
Mhm.
I've kind of managed to also warm their heart because a lot of my very close friends here are Chinese, you know, and I'm very surprised because it's a very familial kind of feeling of being family, as I said, of being very spontaneous, in terms of where we come from, because I think the Asian way of living is so similar, right? We have the
Yeah.
same kind of values. We believe in the same kind of core sets of family. So our spirituality almost bonds into the same kind of language. So we are very kindred souls and kindred spirits.
Now, let's talk
Yeah.
about on the tourism bit a bit. You did mention that previously the government, the Malaysian government, has been pouring more information, pouring more effort down to the south of India when it comes to promotion of Cuti Cuti Malaysia, Visit Malaysia, and whatnot. And now
That's
it has expanded to the north part of India. In general, Ethel, if you could share, what is the general consensus when you talk to the Indians back home? What do they know apart from the Twin Towers of Malaysia? How would they describe Malaysia, you think?
right. So the first impression is the Twin Towers. Trust me,
Mm,
because as I say, it's a very popular icon, which is made very popular in mainstream cinema and things like that, right? So the Twin Towers, yes. Everyone knows a lot of Langkawi, which I think is good because it comes across as a holiday destination. I think also because India is very familiar with coastal, regions. For example, Goa is extremely coastal, right? So maybe Langkawi and Goa has that kind of, of familiarity with the coastal island kind of living. But so people who I've spoken to in India, besides these two destinations, don't know much of Malaysia. So as they're reading me now, they're all kind of saying, Ethel, thank you, because we are looking at Malaysia through your eyes, and we're so surprised and pleasantly surprised and pleasantly shocked that looking at the diversity of life which is there, which is the traditional life, which is art, which is the westernized kind of a soul to it in terms of the nightlife, places to do, places to see, places to party, eat and drink, because my website has become so popular in India and in Malaysia. There's this traffic constantly coming there for content, right? And they're saying you are becoming the ambassador for us, and I think Malaysia Tourism also understands it because they also see my feed, correct? And they're
Yep.
saying, Ethel, we are extremely thankful and humbled that we have you in our country, and you're being an ambassador, in some sort of way of telling your country, telling India what we are all about from a very
Yep.
authentic voice.
Should you are not able to do what you are doing right now in telling the world as a writer as well as an influencer, do you think that the people of India would know more about Malaysia from the efforts that the ministry has been doing, or do you think they should pump up their game even more, you think?
Correct. Okay. So there are two things to that. Once, I think when the Visit Malaysia 2020 program was introduced, it was taken in quite a large scale in terms of the PR instruments that were used in India. I know because it's familiar field for me, right? And that's how we were all reached out to become communicators. Correct. So as I said before that, I was not familiar with Malaysia at all, besides the Twin Towers as an icon. To all our audiences who are in mainstream, and they were like, "Oh, Malaysia is going full on." That's the word, into inviting India to Malaysia. Though India figures in the top 10, travel numbers to Malaysia in terms of travelers and revenue, which is great because for the past 5 years, the population traveling to Malaysia has been increasing in number and revenue, which I think is great. It's great data to even know. But I believe most of the data is all south-based, correct? South of India based. I'm saying beyond Mumbai, there is also a Delhi, and there are other parts of India as well, because there's money power there, there's spending power, and they all want to come on holiday. They all want to come and see everything that Malaysia has to offer.
Ethel, before we go, I do have one more question for you. Should the borders are open tomorrow, what
Yes.
would you want to shout out to all the Indian population down there in Delhi, in Mumbai, in anywhere, as long as they're in there? What do you want to tell them about Malaysia? Should the borders
Yes.
are open tomorrow?
Yes, I hope they open up soon, because I have a whole lot of my friends who are all set to book their tickets and come to Malaysia. And they want me to take them to places where I've been, where I've eaten, all the friends I've made. So, it's like to guide them across, looking at Malaysia through my eyes that way. So I hope the borders open up soon. So I want to tell India about this, about, what a beautiful country Malaysia is, from her people, from her voice, from her voices, from her land, from her soul, from her food, to the way you can come and experience an alternate form or alternate style of living, and perhaps rediscover yourself back. I think that's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. That would be my contribution to Malaysia.
That's definitely more than one can actually ask for. Again, the nice words, the great words, and I can tell from the facial expression that you're telling us, it is so truthful, it is so sincere that you do want people to come down to Malaysia.
I do.
Ethel, Costa, International Lifestyle Influencer, thank you so much for coming on to the show. I wish we had more time, but we hope that the borders will be opened up soon, because we do want to get your friends down here to Malaysia very, very soon. Thank you so much, Ethel.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Wonderful.
All right. Cheers. Thank you. So that was Ethel da Costa coming on to the show, talking about Cuti Malaysia and how Malaysia directly and indirectly has influenced her, has given her joy, has given her greatness and happiness. The fact that she's down here in Malaysia. Hope you guys are feeling the same way as well whenever you guys go and travel around. And hopefully the borders will be open soon, because we do want to get people to come down to Malaysia soon as well. All right, that's all, folks, from me. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Hope to see you guys again on the next one. Take care now.